morning, guys. I'm just admitting the others. Mute yourself, please. Thank you. Mariam, Muhammad Adil, Tadrus, Yahya. This is Yusuf, Muhammad. Okay, Yusuf Awad. So, good morning, everybody. There are about 15 students in the room. As you know, today we're going to revise the novel, part 10, and the epilogue. This is Yusuf Awad joining, Ali, okay, Ali, Alia, Alia, and Jamal Garaiti.
Mister, did you call for my name?
Now I'm just reading the names that I admit. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so in the room with me now, there are Walid, Ken Naguda, Hassan Gouda. Mute yourselves, please, guys. Hassan Ruhaim, Jana Uthman, Kenuz Haya, Layan, Mariam, Adil, Yasin, Yahya, Yusuf Sahrawi, Yusuf Awad, Ali, Alia, and Jana.
ماله على مستر.
I'm just reading your names. I'm just reading the names that are in the room, Ali. Okay, good morning, Ali. Mute yourselves, please. As you know, today, as I said earlier, we are going to revise the novel. And first, there is a summary of part 10, the part we're supposed to have the exam on this term. And I want someone to help me with reading the book Thief, part 10. Who can read the first paragraph? Just remember what's happening in this part. Ali, can you read? أيوة.
انا داخل الحمام طيب يا مستر شويه كده وقت.
Okay. Enjoy your bathroom and come back. طيب حد تاني؟
انجوي حد.
Okay. حد تاني يا شباب؟ طيب عبد الرحمن وليد, can you read the first paragraph? عبد الرحمن,
Hey, Mister.
can you read the first paragraph?
Okay. This read that Hemel Street will soon be boom.
Go on. عبد الرحمن. Walid, where are you? عبد الرحمن وليد. طب I need anyone to read it يعني I need anyone to read the first paragraph.
معلش يا مستر كان في دوشة.
Go on.
And he will pay a visit to collect the souls of the victims, which will include Rudy, Rosa, and Hans, and many other characters, but not Lisa. Lisa will be saved. Death relieves because she will be in the basement of her house, reading over a book she has written about her life. When the researchers pull her out of the rubble, she will scream for Hans, still holding the book she has written. The narrative then goes back to the time and describes the events leading up to the bombing. For 3 months, uh, all is relatively peaceful in Mul-
Molking.
Mulking, with the exception of more parades of the Jews. Then one morning, Michael Holzapfel is discovered to have hanged himself in a laundry. In his note, he asks his mother for forgiveness and say he's going to meet his dead brother in heaven. After the funeral, Liesel read to Michael's mother, Frau Holzapfel, as usual.
Thank you, Abdurrahman. So again, you know, in this part, there is a raid which takes the lives of a large number of the people in Himmel Street. Death tells that Himmel Street will soon be bombed and he will pay a visit. Why? To take the souls of the many people who died because of this attack, to collect the souls of the victims, which will include Rudy. You know, Rudy will die in this attack, Rosa, Hans, and many other characters, but not Liesel. Again, remember that Liesel was the only survivor that day. Why did Liesel survive? We said this before, if you remember, because she was down in the basement doing what? Again, here, death reveals that she was reading over in the basement, doing what? Proofreading or reading over a book she's written about her life. Do you remember the title of the book, guys? Liesel was reading or proofreading a book she wrote about her life. Can anybody remind me of the title of this book? Ah, can anybody? Mariam, can you?
I don't remember the title.
I can't hear you, Mariam.
I don't remember the title.
Okay, it's The Book Thief. The title of her book, she wrote a book about her life. It's like an autobiography. You know, autobiography is the story of your life written by you. Okay, so the title of her book was The Book's Thief. She went down to the basement to proofread her book or to read it over, as Death says here, and this is why she survived. يبقى why did Liesel or why was Liesel the only survivor after the attack on Himmel Street? Because she was in the basement of her house or of Hans's house reading over or proofreading a book she's written about her life. When the searchers, the people who came to search for people under the rubble, pull her from the rubble, she was still holding the book she's written. The narrative then goes back in time for about 97 or 98 days, the 97 or the 98 days before this attack, and describe the events leading up to the bombing Silent B, for 3 months, or as the narrator says, about 98 days, because the bomb uh, took place about on the 98th day after Hans's return from the army. All is relatively peaceful in Malkin. Everything was okay before this attack. They enjoyed 3 months of peace and calmness, with the exception of more parades of Jews. Why were there parades of Jews? Can anybody remind me? We read this part together before. Can anybody remind me why there were parades of Jews? Jews were brought to the streets of Malking to do a specific job. Can anybody remind me of that job? Hmm? Can anybody remind me why the Jews were brought from concentration camps to the streets of Malking, like Himmel Street? Hmm? Can anybody tell me? Please, if you know the answer, put your hand up. Why were the Jews brought to Himmel Street? Why were the Jews brought to Himmel Street? Yusuf Awad, you don't remember? Yusuf?
Yes, mister.
You don't remember the answer?
Yeah.
The question again. Why were the Jews brought to the streets of Malking directly before the raid, the air raid, or the bomb
Why
attack?
were the Jews there?
Huh?
Why were the Jews there?
Brought to the streets of Malking. Type. The answer, just to save time, the answer, guys, is to clean the streets after the attacks. Because some of the other people didn't want to do this, or the army didn't want to do this, but they brought the Jews from the concentration camps to do that job. Okay. So the narrative then goes back in time and describes the events leading up to the bombing. For 3 months, all is relatively peaceful in Malking, with the exception of more parades of Jews. Then one morning, Michael Holzapfel. Remember that this is the son of Mrs. or Frau Holzapfel. This is the lady who used to spit on the door of Hans's house in the early chapters. Remember, lady or Frau Holzapfel used to spit on the door of Hans, and Liesel was the one who used to clean this spit. She has 2 sons, as you know, Robert, who died in Siberia, and Michael, who came back with an injury from the battlefield from Siberia also. Michael was okay after that. And here in this part, we know that he hanged himself in a laundry. Why did Michael Holzapfel hang himself, guys? He left a note in which he asks his mom for forgiveness and says he is going to meet his dead brother in heaven. He said that I can't keep on living at the time my brother is dead. This was the reason why he hanged himself. I'm talking about Michael Holzapfel, Frau Holzapfel's second son, because the first one died again in the war in Siberia in Russia. In his note, or Stalingrad, I'm sorry, Stalingrad. In his note, he asks his mother for forgiveness and says he is going to meet his dead brother in heaven. After the funeral of Michael, Liesel reads to Michael's mother, Frau Holzapfel, as usual. You know, Liesel was in the habit of reading for Frau Holzapfel. Who can read the second paragraph? طيب. Any question about the first paragraph, guys? Does anyone want to ask any question about this part? طيب, Ali, are you back? Ali? طيب. Jana Garaihi, can you read the second paragraph? This paragraph here? Jana Garaihi? Jana, sorry. Jana? Shabab, answer me, please. Jana, are you there? Ali, are you there? Okay. I'll remove those who don't answer me. Ali is removed. Jana Garaihi. Jana, are you there? Jana? Jana?
مستر حضرتك ناديت عليا؟
No knows. Welcome back. I'm calling Jana Walid, and she doesn't answer. So I'm going to remove her. Sorry. طيب. Hassan Gouda, can you read it? Can you read this paragraph?
Sure.
Go ahead. Thank you.
After months of scanning every passing group of prisoners, Liesel sees Max in one of the parades of Jew. Throughout marching, she cries out to him, then joins him in the parade. He tells her he was halfway to Stuttgart.
Yes.
When he was caught by the Nazis. A soldier warns Liesel to get away from the Jews, but Liesel ignores him. And when the soldier drags her from the group, she fights her way back in and quotes from the World Shaker to Max. The soldier whips Max and Liesel. Rudy pulls Liesel from the ground, and Max continues on with the rest of the prisoners. After this, Liesel stays in the bed for several days, then finds Rudy and explains to him who Max is. She shows him the world shaker, and he sees where he was described as a boy with hair the color of lemons. Lisa and Rudy come close to kissing, but again they don't. Death interjects that Rudy will die in a month.
Okay, thank you, Hassan. Again, after months of scanning every passing group, again, remember, guys, that the Jews during the month before the attack, the Jews used to be brought to the streets of Malkin Y to clean the rubble, after the attacks. Liesel sees Max. Max is arrested now. He is kept in one or put in one of the concentration camps. Every time the Jews are brought, Liesel goes out to the street to look for Max. She wanted to make sure that Max was one of them. Liesel sees Max in one of the parades. She sees him of Jews through Molking. She cries out to him, then joins him in the parade. She joins him and walks with him in the street. He tells her he was arrested while he was traveling to Stuttgart. He was halfway to Stuttgart when he was caught by the Nazis. So Max was escaping from Molking to Stuttgart. Halfway, he was arrested by the Nazis. A soldier warns Liesel. Of course, the soldiers were angry when they saw Liesel walking with Max in the street. They warned her to get away from the Jews, but Liesel ignores him. And when the soldiers drag her, they pull her from the group. She fights her way back. She wanted to join them again. And quotes from the Word Shaker. This is one of the books she read to Max. The soldiers whip Max. You know what the whip is? Something like a stick. And Liesel, they whip them both. Rudy interferes here and pulls Liesel from the crowd, and Max continues on with the rest of the prisoners. After this scene, Liesel says or stays in bed for several days, then finds Rudy and explains to him who Max is. You know, all this time, for all this period, Rudy didn't know anything about Max or who Max was. This is the first time Liesel breaks this secret to him. She shows him the word shaker, and this is the book he gave to her. And he sees where he was described as a boy with hair the color of lemons. You remember that Rudy was described with this description, the boy with the hair color of lemons. If you watch the movie, you remember Rudy's hair. It was like the color of lemons. Liesel and Rudy come close to kissing, but again, they don't. Death interjects that Rudy will die in a month. The next paragraph, because looks like I find it hard to make any one of you read. Liesel returns to the mayor's house. Of course, Liesel has lost all the people around her in Himmel Street now because she is the only survivor. She returns to the mayor's house and lets herself into the library. Overwhelmed by all the pain and loss of the past months, she begins ripping pages out of a book. She begins to cut out pages out of a book, making the connection in her mind between words and the current state of the world. Why? She thought that words were the reason of what happened, or the reason for what happened. Why? Because with the words of Hitler in his speeches, he made the soldiers do these killings, and the enemies also were encouraged to kill the people of her street, or the people of her family, or the people who were dear to her, using words. 3 days later, Frau Hermann comes to Liesel's house and gives her a blank book so she can write her own story. Remember this, guys? Elsa Hermann, the mayor's wife, visits Liesel at home and gives her a blank book. Why? So she... Okay, sorry, guys. Guys, can you hear me? Because there was a problem with the internet.
Yes, in a sense.
Okay, thank you. Can you see the screen, Hassan?
Yes.
Okay, close your cameras, please. She tells Liesel not to punish herself. Again, Elsa Hermann, the mayor's wife, visits Liesel or Liesel's house and gives her a blank book, like a notebook, a blank notebook. Why? She asked her to write her own story. She said to her, now you are a good writer and you read a lot, and now you can write your own story. She tells Liesel not to punish herself, and they have coffee together. Liesel begins writing her life story, starting with the death of her brother, Werner, if you remember, and the theft of the first book, the book she stole from the funeral, her brother's funeral at the beginning of the book, from the grave digger. After Liesel has finished the book and is beginning to revise it in the basement, the night comes when the planes drop the bombs that flatten Himmel Street, Because the air raid sirens come too late. Because the air sirens or the air raid sirens come too late, most of the residents are asleep, including Rudy, his family, Hans, Rosa, and all the other people who died that night. Most of the residents are asleep in peace in their beds. When the bombs drop, they are called instantly. But again, why did this large number of the residents of Hamlet Street die that night? Because the sirens or the air raid sirens came out too late. Death arrives to take most of the souls, but is able to see that Liesel, writing in her basement, survived the bombing. After Liesel is rescued from the rubble, she finds Rudy's corpse, his body, and kisses him. And here there is irony, guys. What's ironical about this part? After her survival, Liesel finds Rudy's body and she kisses him on the lips. What's ironical about this part or this sentence? What's ironical here? What is ironical here? Tadrus, can you answer my question? Tadrus, if you can hear me. Tad? Tadrus, are you there? Tadrus? Sorry, Tadrus, you're not with us. Okay, Tadrus is removed. Type, Yasin, are you there?
Yes, yes.
Okay, here in this scene, Liesel finds Rudy's dead body, and kisses him on the lips. What's ironical about this?
He always asked her when he was alive, but she didn't. Now when he's dead, she kissed him.
Perfect, that's it. He was in the habit of asking her for a kiss, and he doesn't get it. Now he's dead, and she is the one who kisses him. Thank you, Yassine. She sees the bodies of Rosa and Hans and reluctantly forces herself to say goodbye to them as well. Then she asks the workers for Hans's accordion. She places the instrument, the accordion, next to Hans's body and promises him she'll never drink champagne again. Remember when she enjoyed the taste of champagne when she drank it with him. As the workers lead Liesel away from the bodies, she leaves the book that she was writing, the story of her life, which is called The Book Thief. This is the book she was proofreading in the basement and was the direct reason of her survival in the rubble. She left the book behind. The book is collected along with the rest of the detritus, all the other things, and thrown in the garbage. Who takes it? Death sees it and rescues it from the trash. So what happened to her book after she was taken away? She left the book behind, and the book is collected along with the rest of the things and thrown in the garbage. But death retrieves the dog from the book, sorry, from the trash and rescues it and keeps it with him until the end of the story. When she was dying, she gave it back to him. And this is the analysis. يعني this summary is on SMS. You can read the analysis later, okay, on your own pace. I'll move on to the questions. I have some questions and answers. Give me a second. So, can you see the screen now? Not this one, sorry. Sorry, give me another second. Grade 11, 10-4. This one. Sorry, guys. This one. Yes, this one. This is part 10. Yes, here. Yassine, can you see the screen?
Yes,
Can you see the part 10, the book thief?
the end of the word.
Okay, thank you. So I have a couple of answered questions. Question 1, how does Death feel about bombing or the bombing of Himmel Street? And of course, you can see the answer. He says, or the narrator says, a street called Heaven shouldn't be bombed because the name of the street is Himmel in German, which means heaven in English. So, and you know, heaven refers to God. Heaven in English, in one of its meanings, it means God. So, in Death's opinion, a street called Heaven shouldn't be bombed because it's called heaven. nobody dares to bomb a street called Himmel or Heaven. Question 2. Throughout the novel, you'll find the questions, but you will not find the answer in the revision guides. So be careful and remember the answers. Throughout the novel, Suzak, the writer, has stressed the power of words. How does this theme ring true in this chapter? Remember when the girl cut out some of the pages of the book because the book is simply words, and she thought that words were the reason of what happened to all the people around her. She says here, words are what got death to know Liesel in the book Thief. And words, again, this is, you can add this point also, words were the reason for all the large number of deaths around her in Himmel Street. When Liesel is rescued, Death states that he could not fully share in their enthusiasm. Again, when Liesel is rescued, Death states that he could not fully share in their enthusiasm because he was busy taking the other souls, of course. Again, why couldn't Death help the other people in saving Liesel from under the rubble? Because he was busy taking the souls of other people, right? Next question. Explain the significance of Liesel's scream as the soldiers pulled her from the rubble. Remember that when they pulled her from under the rubble, she screamed for hands. She said, Papa, Papa, loudly. Okay? She didn't cry for her brother, her biological mother, or her foster mother, Rosa, but she cried, or Rudy. She said, Papa, Papa, because, you know, he was the dearest person to her at that time. She first screamed for hands, Papa, showing how much she cared for him. When Liesel was rescued from the rubble, she screamed for Papa or hands. Why or what does this mean? This means that she or he was the dearest person to her. The chapter entitled The 98th Day. I remember this number. Again, the 98th day was the 98th day after Hans's return from the battlefield. Why? Because he had an accident. If you remember the accident, when the truck he was in turned over, and he was sent back home to serve in the town after he gets gets well. Why do you think Death describes the first 97 days after he has already told the reader the outcome of the 98th day? So it explains more about what happened. You know, again, Himmel Street used to live in peace for about 3 months, 97 days. On the 98th day, the raid attack or the air raid took place, killing all the residents of Himmel Street except for Liesel, and we said why many times. Question 2. Why are the Jews brought to the town during this period? Why are the Jews brought to town during this period? And we said this answer many times in this session: to clean the streets after the air raids. It also was a sign of bad things to come. Remember this. One of the residents of Himmel Street was pessimistic every time she sees the Jews, because every time the Jews were brought to Himmel Street, there was a catastrophe, there was a disaster. The last time after she saw the Jews, she thought that something bad was going to happen, and it came true that Himmel Street was attacked. Question 3. Death presents the image of Michael Holzapfel on July 24th as a pendulum. You remember how he died? He hanged himself in the laundry. And you know, when somebody is hanged, his body goes to and fro like a pendulum, the pendulum of the clock. Another clock stopped. He said about him, another clock stopped, which means Michael killed himself. Identify and explain the figurative language. Here we have a figurative language. This would be a metaphor. Why? Because he compares or likens Michael's life to a clock stopping, or compares Michael himself or Michael's body, Michael's dead body or hanged body, to a pendulum that goes right and left. Okay, so it's a metaphor, guys. Question 4. Read question 4 and then end the session. What does Death learn about Michael's death from the book thief? What does Death learn about Michael's death from the book thief? Who gives the news to his mother? Who tells Frau Holzapfel about her son's death? So he killed himself because he felt guilty for living. You know, Michael felt guilty for living after his dead brother. This is why he decided to kill himself, and he left a note for his mother asking her for forgiveness. And who gives the news to his mother? It was Hans, before he was or before he died. Hans was the one who told Frau Holzapfel about her son's death. I'll stop here and see you in 20 minutes after the break. Thank you very much.